Hello there, you lovely lot. Welcome back to another fantastic show here on Crafters TV. It is all about a craft along for the next couple of hours. So looking at something that many of you already own and love, it is the Zig Zag dies, of course. For this particular show, I'm talking about something that many of you know and love. Debbie Fisher's here with me. How are you, Debbie?
Oh, good afternoon, Joe, and good afternoon, everyone. Are you ready for a lovely craft along? We're going to be crafting this beautiful box. So learn how to make our box. We're also learning how to layer all these different elements up. We're going to do a bit of colouring. And what's more, Joe, I've got a very special guest that's crafting along with me as well, haven't I?
You have. They didn't turn up, though, unfortunately, so it's going to be me crafting along with you instead. How about that?
I know, that's really exciting.
Debbie has been very kind. She's got me everything I need, including foam on a circular shape. So I will be crafting along with Debbie as well. And if you want to craft along with a pair of us, it's not too late, don't you worry. Here's everything you're going to need. So you're going to need some of your Zig Zag 3D scene dies. Our hometown is the one that Debbie has chosen to use for this demo. We've got the creator bows. You've got some cardstocks here, so some multi-purpose, some black card, some 12x12 paper, acetate, Centura pearl, some tri-blend markers, some ink pads as well. We've got some quick dry ink pads too. We've also got some glitters. Debbie's chosen to use the Winter Sparkle. We've got pearls and gems, tape pens, foam on a no, collie tacky, border collie glue, collar tacky glue, fine tip glue applicator, stamping platform, stamping mat, scoreboard, craft knife, guillotine, and a die cutting machine. That is everything you need. It is not too late. If you want to gather your bits and bobs, you can craft along with myself and Debbie. If you're crafting along with us live as well, right here, right now, why don't you let me know in the comments? Crafters TV on Facebook, Crafters Companion over on YouTube. I'd love to know who's going to be crafting along live in real time with us. I also want to talk about this as well. It's a hive of activity today here in the Crafters TV studio because the 17th birthday celebrations, they kick off on Monday. Lots of you have had this fabulous booklet come out to you this week or have it on the way to you this week. If you don't have any orders placed or on the way out to you, don't worry, because you'll be able to download the digital version of this from tomorrow. That'll be available for you to download from tomorrow, so make sure you come and grab that. Talking about grabbing things, let me share with you then the deal we've got on the Zig Zag dies. Just managed to repeat that launch offer for you. And remember, if you're going for these today, you'll be able to watch this show back any time you like, which is marvellous. In here, you've got 4 different designs. So this one here, that is your Our Hometown, is what we're calling that one. And you've got the stamps as well, which go with each of these, which is brilliant. Next up, you've got this one here, which is your Once Upon a Time, my favourite, this one. You will also get your, this is one, Debbie used this one earlier. This one's called In the Country. It's the little house on the hill, like the little house on the prairie, isn't it? And then you've also got this one here, which is your Garden Dream. So you get all of them for that price. We've replicated that launch offer for you as well. $41.55 or $47.80 is your price for those. Right, let's see who's chatting away with us. Suzanne Dawn says, hi everyone, from a very grey Leicester. Looking forward to the craft along. Julie says hi from sunny Poole in Dorset. Oh, it's lovely down that part of the country. Ready to craft along using masquerade ball paper pads. Love that.
Ooh,
Jenny Barja. Nice. Jenny with the good hair. She is in from Ohio. She's going to craft along later. She's going to watch it first time around. Tammy Higgins. She's a craft along regular, our Jenny. Tammy Higgins says hi all. Tammy in Connecticut. Janet is in Traverse City. Ooh, I wonder what that is. I've not a clue. Carletta is in Arkansas as well. Susan's a bit disappointed in herself because she found herself singing along to Foam on a Roll this morning. I get it, Susan.
Oh, don't be disappointed.
Suzanne says, well, I don't have this particular set, but I will be crafting along in some capacity. Absolutely. Debbie, if you're ready, I think all of our lovely crafters seem to be ready to go.
Are you ready, Joe?
Let's say I'm as ready as I'm gonna be. Let's go with that. How does that sound?
I love that. It's so nice to have you crafting along in the studio, and it's so lovely to have you craft along at home. So remember, we're fully interactive. If you want me to stop at any point, I can stop, I can recap at any time, and we'd love you to send your photos in if you do it. But remember, if you're not crafting along with us live, you can always watch us back. So just bookmark the show or save the show and the date and time, and then you can go back and watch it whenever you want. So the first thing I'm going to do is take our guillotine, and we're taking our large guillotine, and I've took the little foot out of my guillotine here and put that on the leg, because we're going to cut our white card. So that's the first thing we've got, is our white multi-purpose cardstock. We're going to cut this to 8 1/4 by 10 1/4. So the first thing you'll notice, because I'm using an A4 piece of card, that's already an 8 1/4, so we haven't got to do anything for that. I always say it, Joe, because in the US they have different sizes, don't they? And then 10 1/4, we want to do this on the lengthways. So place that into our guillotine at 10 1/4. So it's as simple as that. That's our first piece of card. So let's pop that to the side and bring in our scoreboard. So with our scoreboard, what we're now going to do, we're going to score on every side on our score box lid. So this is our lid side, 1 1/4 inches. So if you look down at the bottom here, we've got our box lid. So it means on the left-hand side, we're going to score round at 1 1/4 inches all the way around. So let me grab my scoring tool, and then we've got 1 1/4 inches. So a nice, easy start. Turn that round again, 1 1/4. I like to do it a couple of times, Joe, because it just stretches the fibres in our cardstock. So it's best to go a lighter touch rather than go heavy.
All tool.
Do I? Well, I'm using a small one, but normally I would use a larger one. It's only I've got a different one to use. Only 2 in the studio, which is unbelievable. So this one comes with the scoreboard that I've got, which is the Master Score. You also get one of these in your Ultimate Pro, but you also get a double-ended one in the Ultimate Pro, which Joe has got. So then we're going to fold over our score lines. Now a little tip here, Joe, if you fold onto your smaller piece, so having the smaller piece on the side, fold on top of the smaller piece rather than fold your smaller piece over. And what I mean by that is, if you normally we would take that smaller piece and fold it over. I always like to, if I can, fold my largest bit over. That stops you bending your card. It makes a massive difference to the size.
I didn't know that. I've not heard that before.
Yeah, makes a real big difference. So then you can see you've got a complete square edge. When you turn this over, because you hold this side, it bends it a little. So if you turn it over onto the full piece,
well, that's a top tip right there.
You don't get that. Yeah, really good tip. Now what we are going to do is we're going to take our scissors, we're going to snip up. So you're going to just snip up to that point, and then we're going to cut a triangle out, and then we're going to just cut a little end off like that. That just neatens our edges, and then I rotate it. So then I turn it round. We're going to again cut up the score line, take our little section out, and then cut that end off, rotate it again, and again cut that score line. So right up there. Oh, can't really see in this light. Take that little triangle out, rotate again, and then do exactly the same. So triangle, and then snip that off. So nice and easy. So that's how I like to do all my boxes. So it is a case. Now I'm going to recap that just for everyone that's watching. So this is an A4 piece of card, which is already 8 1/4, and then I've cut it across at 10 1/4. So 8 1/4 by 10 1/4, and then we've done on the box lid side, we've scored at 1 1/4 inch all the way round on all your sides, and then we've literally just snipped in, took your triangle out, and then cornered it off. Now the reason I do that, Joe, is because when we come to putting the box together, which we're not doing now, it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. So if your paper is not complete, your card isn't completely straight, this section that we've cut out allows you to just push it down a little bit, so so you get that really crisp edge on your box, okay? So nice little tips there. Right, this gives us our box, so we're going to just pop this to one side to start with, and then we're going to bring in our black cardstock. So pop that to the front there, bring in a black piece of card. Now the black piece of card we want to cut to 5.5 inches by 7.5 inches. So we'll bring our guillotine back in. And again, I'm gonna do that on my side here. So let's do that. In fact, I'll do it on my long side. We're gonna do that to 7.5 inches by 5.5 inches. Or what you done, Joe?
I think I've cut it a bit short.
Don't worry, we've got plenty of black cardstock. Or you can have I've got 2 pieces from this if you would like another piece.
That's fine, I've got it.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so we've got a 7.5 piece, so 7.5 by 5.5. So I'm just going to let Joe get to his. Now what I want to do now is we're going to take our pencil and our ruler and we're going to mark in, we're going to actually draw our aperture in. So I've never actually done this live, and I thought to myself, I always sort of say you can cut your aperture out or use your dies. So it's a really good idea to be able to draw your aperture in and then we're going to cut it out. So I'm going to use my glass mat, and what we're going to do is we're going to put it up to, so you can pick any lines you want. So let's just say we're going to choose that line just there. I'm going to put it so we can see it on the camera. And then what we're going to do is come in where I'm going to use my, can't think of the word, metal strip is onto here. We're going to place that on here, and then I'm going to take it down to my 6 inches coming across. So then I know I'm going to go on to, and use the grid of your ruler as well, because what will happen here,
How far down from the edge of the cardstock? An inch,
yeah,
perfect.
An inch down and an inch in. So it's really good you've got these lines. So 2 of these squares here, that's my inch going down. So I can see if I put my grid right onto here, I can see coming down onto that point, I can come across making sure that that's straight. So I'm going to just go up a little bit onto there. So I'm doing it by eye on the screen, because if I look over it, all you're going to see is my head. So let's just oh no, we need to go up on that one and up on that one. Come down there. It's hard to do looking at the stream. That will be fine. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to score our line across. So I'm going to wait to this inch. So we've got the 2 gaps here. So the inch across here and then the inch the other way. Okay, and we're going to do that the same all the way round. So I'm going to bring it down onto my line. Just make sure we've got that straight, and then bring in my ruler right across. Just bring that up to that line.
Susan says snipping the ends off is a step I didn't know about. Making boxes, great idea. Susan says she didn't say she was disappointed. No, but you implied it, Susan, so that's all I was thinking. Suzanne says foam on a circular shape just doesn't work, Joe. It doesn't have the same ring to it.
Thank you, Susan. So go across that way. And again, so this is just about taking your time. So we know that we can line that up to the line. We're going to take that down to our score line on here. I'm doing it by eye, I think, because that's the easiest way. And I mean by eye is not look at the screen, because I was looking at the screen. Take that to 2 inches, an inch, but 2 squares before the end. And then we're just going to come round. Have you done yours already, Joe?
Yeah, so I've got an inch border all the way around, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just going to come in with that last one. We're going to pop that into place and then score that line. And we're going to cut that out, Joe. So whatever you're comfortable with, if you need your ruler to cut that out, then go ahead. I'm just going to use my craft knife and freehand, because we don't have to worry too much. I mean, this is going to be on your box, the lid of your box, but I'm actually quite good with a freehand. Now, if you're not, just use your ruler, take your knife, where you've got your knife to start with, place that up until there so it's butting up against it, and then just remember where you've got to cut down to.
And we're going, we're taking the whole of the inside
aperture out, are we? We're taking the whole of the inside out, yeah, and then you can just go down and cut that out. Okay, so I just like to sort of go down, follow that line down, and then turn it round I'm actually better with a knife, a craft knife, than what I am with scissors.
This is the first time I've ever used a craft knife.
Oh, really? And then we're just going to cut that one, and then again, just that line across. There we go. So, and if you just need to go in again, it's fine. We can just go in again. I can't cut with scissors straight, but I can cut a, which is very, very strange. So there we go. It doesn't seem to want to cut that bit. And that cuts out the aperture. Doesn't want to come away, that bit there. Now, my biggest top tip with that is to make sure you'll only be able to do that without any feathering if you've got a sharp blade. So I did replace. Now, our knives come with replacement blades, and you can buy replacement blades as well. It's the one thing I can't stress enough. Always make sure that you've got a good blade in there. If it starts to blunt, then change it. And all you do is literally undo that. This pops out the top, and then you just replace it with your new one. Just pop that inside. There you go, see? And then we'll do that back up. Oh, it doesn't want to. There we go.
I better put the top back on, hadn't I? Otherwise, I'll lose a finger. I know. How did Joe lose a finger on a craft?
So this piece is going to lay. So you can see that's the perfect fit for your top of your box. Now we're going to do that all again now, Joe, but this time we're going to do it with our pattern papers. So I'm going to bring in our pattern paper. We're using the papers from Sarah's. Oh, let's get this Frosty and Bright. So I'm going to use more the pinky side of this one. And we're going to trim this card. So the next thing we want to do is we want to trim this slightly smaller than our black card. So we're going to do this one 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. So let's bring our guillotine back in, and then we're going to place that inside, do it that way. And we're going to do our 5 1/4. There we go, by 7 1/4. Just like that. Well, this will get you ready for Christmas, Joe, because you'll now have a Christmas gift box that you can put a gift into. And then we're going to do exactly the same with this one, Joe, but this time we're actually going to come in at, I believe it's 3/4 of an inch. So what I'm going to do this time, if you bring your scoreboard in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my scoring tool in, because it's 3/4 of an inch and it's a little bit easier to measure. I'm just going to come down roughly where I think that 3/4 of an inch would be on the opposite side, and I'm just going to score down there. And then I'm going to turn that around the opposite side. We're going to do that the same. So 3/4 of an inch, come just a little bit down. And then we're going to do the same. So this one now, when you come down 3/4 of an inch, you can do it from that line. So you sort of get that square point.
Oh, I think I like this way of doing it, Debbie.
Oh, you prefer this way?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it's a lot quicker, and then you can just go back in with your score lines and know that you're getting that full square. And the reason I do this is because it's easier then to actually, so what you can then do is, now you've got a score line, Joe, actually take your pencil and you can go down that line.
Ah, great idea.
Yeah. So 3/4 right the way down, and then the next one. There we go, 3/4 of an inch, and then the next one. And actually that is much quicker, but the reason I've done it on the pattern paper, because it's easier to see, and then you get that perfect finish all the way around. And then we're going to do exactly the same. So either take your tool, or you can just take your craft knife and cut down. So we're just going to take this one down. How do
you stop losing things in the craft room? Honestly, everything's under something.
Yeah, believe me. Joe, have you seen me craft? I'm always losing stuff, and it's always under something else. I think I'm being really good and putting it somewhere safe, but I still manage to lose it. I do try and put things in the same place right next to me in the craft room. So as soon as I finish, this will go to the side of my mat. But there is times then I think, oh, I need that, and reach over for something else and end up putting it down. And then that way, that creates our perfect shape that will go over the top here, just like so. And there you go, that creates our main frame of things. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and stick this to our frame. We're just waiting on Joe to catch up, but I will just stick this in, and that's all we're going to do for a second. So we'll let you catch up on your
I'm there, Debbie.
cutting. So just like so. Now, if you wanted to, Joe, it's good to use maybe a wet glue, just in case you're not very good at straightening that edge, because I'm using our tape pens, but it means it doesn't give me any wiggle room. So when you then come to putting it across, what have you lost, Joe? Your tape pens?
Glue.
Yeah, I did give you some tape pens. What have you done
You gave me
with
some
them?
glue as well. You definitely did. I've got some tacky glue here.
Oh, you got some tacky glue, that's good. So we're just going to place this over the top here and then layer that down. Oh, it's stuck to my hand, so I'm just going to take that off. There we go. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can see mine's not perfect, but I'm not worried about that at all. It's just given us that beautiful framework. So rubbing that in all the way round, like so. Right, now there's one more thing I want to do, Joe, before we take a little bit of break and let people catch up, and then that creates our box lid. Take your frame and we're going to place this onto the top of our box. Now you'll be able to see a very slight rim. If I bend the tops down, you'll be able to see you've got a really slight rim all the way round. So you just want to get that central to your makes. And then what I want to do is I want to create another frame on the inside, but I want to leave a slight, so it depends what's easiest for you. Now, if it's easiest for you to just draw
Are you
around
just sitting
your
that there or
frame,
gluing it, Debbie?
just sitting it, yeah, we're not gluing it down yet. If you want to, you could just draw on the inside of that frame and then gut that piece out. I actually want to create a little white frame inside. So what I'm going to do is, put little dots just slightly inside. Can you see? Because then what you'll do is we're going to just then use our ruler to draw those dots in. So once we've done those dots, all I'm going to do is take the ruler again, and we're going to place it from dot to dot, right like so, and just come across there. I'm going to do the same on all the way around. So just the top of those dots, and again turn that round. Now obviously if you've got nesting dies, you could absolutely use your nesting dies to do this. I didn't have this shape nesting die that I needed, and I thought actually it did make me think not lots of people don't have certain nesting dies, so it's nice to do it from scratch and be able to freehand. So then when you come to laying this over the top, can you see when we cut that out, you'll have that white rim going all the way round. So all we're going to do, again, take your ruler. How are you doing, Joe? Have you got yours all matched up?
I don't think I've got much of a rim on mine, but I'm all right with that.
It doesn't matter, yeah, it doesn't matter. So all we're going to do is go to this side bit. We're going to cut all the way down.
So I'm going tactical. I'm going to, rather than not having, so I'm not going to have a rim. So I think what I'm going to do, Debbie, is just remove a little bit more.
Okay, yep, that's fine.
Just so I don't have like an in-betweeny amount, you know?
Yep. And it's all, you know, it's entirely up to you. You don't even have to have a rim. I mean, it's not like anyone's going to say, oh, you don't have a rim and I do. It really is just, and actually that doesn't matter either, but I've just gone across the paper a bit, but I'm not going to worry. This is why I'm not very good with a ruler and that. I'm better off actually just sticking to freehand. Yeah, much better at that. But I just wanted to do it both ways. Yeah,
just
see,
cut
I took
into
a
my ruler.
sliver off. Look at that. I've been really naughty, Joe. I'm not going to have a rim around mine because on that side, because I've actually just cut into that one. So I'm just going to have to take that a little bit bigger.
Debbie, I'm cutting into my ruler.
You've cut into your ruler? Have you used it the wrong way?
Yeah. What am I like?
Oh dear, it doesn't seem to want to go for me either, Joe. Right, I'm just going to go down there just so I haven't got a wonky piece. And like I say, it's not, oh, we haven't done that one, so that's fine. Let's go across here. That's it. I've got one more to do on that top edge. I need to just come away from that bit.
I thought it was metal on both sides.
No, just metal on the one side. So it can be used as a normal ruler, which is good. So just going to pop those ones there. So when you then come to putting this over the top, I've got a little bit of a room. I could always move it over a little bit, but I've sort of lost my edge on there, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. So there we go, we've done our box. Now I'm just going to have a quick recap, Joe, just for everybody at home and what we actually did. So our first piece of card, we cut this 10 1/4 inches by 8 1/4, which is already your A4. We've then created a black piece of card, which we've cut to 5 1/2 inches by 7 1/2 inches, and then we've measured in 1 inch all the way round and cut the outside out. The inside out, sorry. Then we've done a patterned piece of card. We've cut this for 5 1/4 by 7 1/4, and we've come in at 3/4 of an inch and cut that middle piece out, which matte and layered. We've then used this as our guideline over the top of our box. You can either draw fully round into that centre or place a little dot on each end and draw round, and that will give you just that little bit of a rim that's coming on that inside, which just all adds to that dimension and everything. Okay, so we've done our box lid, so that's all ready.
You're not sticking that down at this point?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
No, not yet. So we're going to leave that, have a little break, let everybody catch up. Let us know if you've got any questions, if there's anything you want recapping. We can go back on anything, but that's where you should be up till now.
Amazing. Right, that was quite. I'm all right. I thought it was quite straightforward so far, Debbie. I want to share with you something that's coming up in our later Cartload show. It is our swing cards, which are these ones just here, and they are absolutely fantastic. You guys have absolutely loved these. You've got different designs on here, and they are very, very kinetic, as you'll see. So they actually swing around inside. They're quite a cool concept on your card. So you've got the hearts, the butterflies, you will get the hexagons, and you also get the circles in there as well. They are a really cool little concept for you, and at a brilliant price, $25.98 or $29.90. Is your price on those. It's a half price deal. Right, I think we better take a quick pause, Debbie, don't you? Give everyone an opportunity to get themselves caught up. So whilst you do that, here's all the details of Club Inspire.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% of your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
The one that was really funny, Ben. You didn't.
It was better than your I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan. Can we clip that?
We'll do it. Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day.
Lights, camera, action, party.
Can you believe your eyes? Crafter's Companion is nearly 17.
Head over to the website and get ready for the most glittering soiree in town. That's fun, isn't it? And it's gonna, there's more of that. It's gonna kind of evolve as we go through the week as well. So keep your eyes out for that. There's loads of, oh gosh, this is the worst thing that could happen. Someone gives me a pencil or a pen, I'm just like, I go into school teacher mode. There's loads of stuff coming up as well over on socials. So make sure you head over there and keep an eye on everything going on. Loads of surprises for you as well as we head into our 2-week birthday celebration, which all kicks off on Monday. Right, Debbie. Eileen would like the measurements recapped, if you wouldn't mind. And on the patterned paper, how far did we go in? Asks Suzanne.
Oh, great question. So the pattern paper was, let me get my measurements, 5 1/4 by 7 1/4, and we come in at 3/4 of an inch. And what we did by that was done it on our scoreboard because it was 3/4 of an inch. So score it 3/4 of an inch all the way round on the middle section, and then you can draw that line into the crevice where it's been embossed down into it, and then cut it out with your craft knife. You might even find some people like to use scissors, Joe, or some people might have a trimmer where you can place a trimmer and then you can take your trimming blade.
Oh, like a paper trimmer.
Yes, like
We're
a
doing
paper
Violet
trimmer.
Studios one now.
Violet Studios, and in fact, Liam had a Violet Studios one the
It's
other
on the
day.
website now.
It's brilliant. So if you wanted to recreate that, you could use the Violet Studio. I'm going to have to get myself one of them because I think it would be really handy to use in the craft alongs. Because that way, if you've got the Violet Studio trimmer, you'll be able to gut out all your insides without doing any measuring. You put it up to the board, you find your 3/4 of an inch or your inch, and you can just gut that out, which is brilliant. I'm going to quickly just recap again, just to make sure that everyone is up to where we're up to. So the first thing you're going to do is cut your white piece of card to 10 1/2 inches, sorry, 10 1/4 inches by 8 1/4. Your 8 1/4 is what your A4 cardstock is. We're then going to take a black piece of card and we're cutting the black piece of card 7 1/2 inches by 5 1/2 inches. We've then measured in to 1 inch all the way round and took out that inside aperture panel. We've then took our patterned cardstock and we've trimmed that to 5 1/4 inches by 7 3/4 inches. And then we've gone in at 3/4 of an inch and done the same thing and took that inside out. We've then took our top of our card and we've come in here, we've measured it from where our card goes over the top. I've put some dots, 4 dots all the way round, so we can just have a little bit of a rim going round there. So it's all about just taking it out. If you do have nesting dies, you could use nesting dies to do that as well, but it should do the same job. So we're up to this one. Now what we want to do, Joe, so we can finish this off and get to the crafty bit and have plenty of time to finish, we're going to do our layers for the side of our box lid. So what we want to do, we want to create these side panels. We're going to do black card to one, they're going to be 1 inch, 1 inch by 7 1/2 inches. So let's bring our guillotine in. We're going to use, I've got a scrap piece of card that we've used from our last bit of card. But
Debbie, how wide is A4?
How wide?
Yeah.
11 3/4, I believe.
Right.
Or width? No, width is 8 1/4.
8 1/4?
Yeah. You're trying to
Not
work it
8
out
and
a different way, aren't you? So we want to do this one is 7 1/4. So we're going to go to 7 1/4. And then I'm just going to trim these off at 1 inch. So 1 inch.
So it was 1 inch by,
We
sorry.
need 2 of those. 1 inch by 7 1/2. Oh, 7 1/2. Did I do that 7 1/4? I did. Hang on, let me just. Oh, it is 7 1/2. So what's going to happen? Yeah, it's going to be slightly smaller. I'm just going to grab another piece of black card. So I've got a piece here. Let's see what this one is.
1
So
inch by 7 1/2.
that one's 7 1/2.
Is
Yes.
A4 not 7 1/2?
A4 is, I thought, 7 1/4. So we're going to go to 1 inch. You need 2 of those strips, and then your other one will be 5.5 by 1 inch, and you need 2 of those.
Oh, it is. Debbie, I'm really confused. 1 inch by 7.5.
Yes, so 2 pieces at 1 inch and 7.5, and then we need 2 pieces at 5.5. So I'm going to trim that one down, and we're going to cut those 1 inch borders, and that's for the side of your box. So that's our second one, and then our second one there. Okay. So what you'll have is your 4 strips, and I'm going to bring my card in so you'll be able to see. These pieces are going to fit perfectly along here, and these pieces perfectly along there. Okay, so you've got your 4 pieces for those.
4 pieces.
Yeah, 4 pieces in total, and I will just recap. So you need 7.5 inch by 1 inch, and you need 2 pieces of those.
Yep.
And then you want 5.5 inch by 1 inch and 2 pieces of those. Yep. And then we're going to take in that piece of card that we trimmed out for our box lid, and we're going to do our mats and layers with these ones. So the mats and layers, we need to go down an increment. So we want 7.25 instead of 7.5. So 7.25, which is what I think I read for, earlier. And then we're going to come down at 1/4 of an inch. Now on your guillotine, you'll be able to see that you've got your 1 inch, and then it's where your little lines end. It's where those little lines end that we're going to take our cardstock up to. And that's going to give us our 3/4 of an inch. So trim that one down. We need 2 of those. And that one as well, right up to those lines. And then we're going to do the same again, because this time we need a 5.25. So 5.25, and we're going to trim 2 of those at 1/4 of an inch. So right to the end of those lines. And if you haven't got a guillotine that does you 3/4, or you're confused with that 3/4 of an inch, just use your scoreboard to get that 3/4 of an inch. So let's pop those to the side. So if I bring back in my black ones, what you'll have here is your 2 longer ones. So I'm just going to recap again. So these ones are 7.5 by 1 inch. You need 2 of those, and then you've got 7.25 by 3/4 of an inch. So you can see that will create your mats and layers. Okay, so we're going to affix these to each other. So all I'm going to do is take, now you can use a wet glue for these, or you can just use your tape pen, whatever you prefer to use. So just bringing that down. These will fit perfectly then on top of your black pieces of card. Okay, so just again, I'm going to keep recapping just for those that are still doing it.
Yeah, I just need the patterns again, Debbie.
Yeah, no problem at all.
I really struggle with the smaller measurements on the guillotine.
Oh, okay.
So I find it easier to measure the size of the card. So like I do 12,
And then deduct.
and I do to 11, 10,
Yeah.
9, 8, and then I have to go back in and do them the other way. I can't do it. I
okay.
don't know why. I just can't seem to get the
Oh,
knack when it's at the very right side of the
Right.
guillotine. I don't know why I struggle with that.
Oh, okay. We need to do that more close up and show you exactly how you do those, because it's very simple, and it's just following the lines down on there. So your 2 pieces, I'm going to turn that over. So your 2 pieces of black cardstock, these are 7.5 inches by 1 inch, and then you've got 5.5 inches by 1 inch. Okay, so 4 pieces of those. For your inside pieces, you need to do these at 7.25 by 3/4 of an inch. 7.25 by 3/4 of an inch, and they're going to fit perfectly onto your insides there. Just let me know, Joe, if you need any help, because I can always cut you some here just to show people that secondary one.
I think I've cut them 1/4 inch too wide now.
That's fine. I've got some here.
I'm having a bit of a drama today, Debbie.
Are the same as mine.
I'm usually fine, but today, yeah.
So let's go in. So this is, I can do you, have you done your bit longer ones? or your shorter ones?
I've done all of them. I just need to take 1/4 of an inch off them. So I'm
Oh,
gonna.
okay, right. So we're
I've
all
done them
good.
all. I just need to take 1/4 of an inch off the width.
We're all good. So it's just a case of matting and layer these over the top. And it's not a bad thing because with Joe catching up, it means that all of you can still take your time, still catch up. The last thing I want you to do is rush through these if you haven't got it. If you still need a little bit of time, honestly, just let us know because we can keep recapping, keep stopping and mat and layering these. So just making sure I've got these the right way round. Not that it matters because they will all sort of blend into each other. So just like so.
I've completely winged that.
What's happened?
all I did was I just put them in the guillotine a bit and I thought, that looks like 1/4 of an inch and just whacked it off. And we'll see what we've ended up with. And actually, there you go, look. They're fine.
Ah, there you go.
And how did you glue those? Just tape pen, Debbie?
Yeah, just with a tape pen, stuck them on, put them on with a tape pen. So I'll give you the measurements one more time while Joe's sticking. We've got our 7.5 inches by 1 inch of your black cardstock, and your patterned cardstock is 5.5 inches by 3/4 of an inch, and they're going to mat and layer onto your 2 pieces. And then when it comes to your card, your box lid, these are going to fit beautifully on the sides of those. And then you're going to have 2 pieces. These ones are 5.5 inches, your black card is 5.5 inches by 1 inch, and then your mats and layers for the inside are 5.25 by 3/4. And then once we've got all those done, we're going to then pop them onto the sides of our box. So let's just use, again, I'm using my tape pen. You can use your wet glue if that's what your preference is, whatever's easiest. So we're just going to pop that into place right in the centre. Give that a good work down and do the same on to the other side. Please don't stick your middle frame yet because we've still got something else we want to do before you stick the middle frame. And I say that only because I know some people like to go ahead and stick it all into place, but we haven't finished with that yet. So doing that one. In fact, I'll take that out of the picture so you know not to do that. And if anyone has done that, it's not a big deal. So don't worry, there's always a way around it. And then we're going to pop more glue on here. And then just stick that one into place. And then our last one for the side. I do love the, sorry this is what we've used again because I know Craig used it in his craft along last week, but it's such a pretty pad, the Frosty and Bright. You just can't help but use it.
My favourite thing to do is if I do get wonky mats and layers, Debbie, I just trim a bit off.
Yeah, I like that idea. I do that as well, Joe, so don't worry. You're not like a non-crafter who does it. All crafters do it as well. You just trim a bit off. So this is the point where you want to get to. This will be the second thing that we do in a minute. But what we do want to do, we're going to bring in one of our die cuts. So I'm just going to bring these in so you can have a look at them while Joe is sticking down. We've got all these different sections. Now, what we've done in the past with using these is all going behind and putting things in. I want to use my gate slightly differently and make it look completely different to the rest of our box. So with the gate, we're going to cut this out a couple of times and then we're going to shadow it. But what you'll find with this gate when you've got it, it doesn't have a cut-in side on one of the edges. So on the left-hand side, it has no cutting edge. So what we want to do, we want to create that so the actual tab on the side is a little bit longer than what's already there, and that will allow us to place it into onto the top of our box lid, but underneath this section. So what you want, ideally, you want a piece of card that's going to go behind here because your gate is going to be on the front here of your card. So you want that to sort of go that inch behind. So I'm just waiting for Joe to finish that. We'll pop them to the side and our sentiments. What you'll find is that you'll have, so if I bring these in, from gutting out your inside, you'll have your white piece from that inside bit, you'll have your black piece from in there, and you'll have that top piece. That one you can just put to the side, and what we're going to use is this extra black and white piece. Because we've got them, we might as well use them to create with. So what we want to do, I want to make sure that when we die cut this, we're actually using it and leaving a piece on the side. It doesn't matter how big it is at the moment, as long as it roughly would go behind that frame, okay? So we're going to take our piece of card and our low-tack tape and tape that onto there.
Do I need to leave a gap at the bottom, Debbie? No?
No, it doesn't matter about the gap at the bottom because it's going to, you could cut it wherever you want to because that gap is going to be cut out. So what I was saying, Joe, is make sure you leave. So I've left just about 3/4 of an inch on there. And we're just going to take that in and run that through our Gemini. So let's pop that into place. And run that
Got
through.
a bit of a sweat on, Debbie.
Yeah, you were.
I'm working for it today.
Puffing there.
Working for it.
So Joe's got a Gemini MIDI. I've just got the Gemini. So we are making Joe work a little bit harder, but it means he doesn't need any electricity over there. But it's quite quick to be able to do that. So you can see here. Then once we take that out, we've got our gate, which cuts out beautifully. And then all we're going to do is take our scissors to those edges and just cut across. Now, it doesn't matter how wonky or straight that is, you're not going to see that piece there. So we're going to have that bit and all the rest is cut out. I mean, that's a great gate, isn't it? I love that one. You're going to use that in so many different parts. And then I'm just going to make sure I don't think I've given you a pokey tool, Joe, purely because there was only... yeah, there was only one pokey tool, so you'll have to borrow my one. Oh, there's none. No, I don't know where they've all gone. I think someone's been eating them. There's no pokey tool. Here, I'll tell you what, you have my die. Oh, you die. Oh, George is going to get you one. Oh. We're looking for a pokey tool.
There's an earpiece pokey tool. Delightful. Can you imagine what... Oh, I can't imagine what that's been used for.
It's to wash them out with, so that's all. So it's actually quite clean. So make sure you clean your die as well, Joe.
Oh, no, I'm not about that.
What, cleaning your
Cleaning the die, no.
Oh, well.
My die's clean. It's completely clean.
Oh, that's
Every last
good.
bit came out.
Oh, well, that's good. So then we're going to use the black piece. Yeah. And then we're going to use the black piece of card and do exactly the same.
Yeah, and leaving a same gap, Debbie.
It doesn't really matter, to be honest, Joe, because this piece is going to be stuck behind the white piece.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter about the gap. So let's pop that one on and run that one through. So again, it's just feeding it into whatever Gemini machine that you've got, having that die cut out. There we go. And then we've got our black one. Well, that's weird because all my pieces come out bar from one piece there. So there we go. And then we're going to do exactly the same. I'm just going to trim that one off and that side. And then just take all those pieces out. So that gives us our black gate. And then what we're going to do with that one, Joe, we're going to use this as a matten layer underneath. So let me just clear all those pieces out. And then we're going to use the back. So on the back, we're going to use our dotty tape pen. And all I'm going to do is run across those sections just to make sure that that's got plenty of glue all over there, which is going to hold those all in place. Put one in there. And then we're going to very slightly shadow this on the top. So
I'm going to snip that all the way out in that gate on the black piece. I want to remove all of that, do I?
You can. I've left mine on,
okay.
So it doesn't really matter, to be honest. I could cut it off because I haven't put no glue on it, so it doesn't really matter. It's just to give it a little shadow so it looks cool. So I am going to cut that off, Joe. You're right. I think that would be better cut off. So let's just cut that bit off on there and just that little bit, I think, at the side. And then we will just use our scoring tool just to go across the back. So that gives us our main sort of gated area, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so that's the piece now. So what we can then do, Joe, is when we put this on the front of our card here, just like so, it will literally fits perfectly, so we can stick that to there, and then when it comes to placing this over the top, we've then got our sort of hidden gate, but it will still open as well. So if you're clever, you can push that through. That will come on to, I say if you're clever, you don't need to be clever. So we're just going to stick this piece onto this side. So I'm just putting my glue onto that end piece. So you're right, Joe, I don't know if you heard me earlier, I cut the back black piece off. Yes, I did. If you've glued it down, it's fine, but if you haven't glued it down, I would cut that off. And then all we're going to do is pop that right across there onto, so our feet
And you just tape pen that, have you?
Yeah, I've just tape pen that, yeah. Give that a rub down, give that a burnish, in fact, that won't come away. And also we're then going to glue our frame on as well. So your frame will go straight over the top there. And create that aperture, but with our opening gate. Okay. So all we're going to do now, Joe, is we're going to put our frame around the actual design. So let me find my tape pen. How are you doing? Have you got your gate on?
My gate's on.
Your gate's on. So all I'm doing now,
I'm going to wet glue that gate at that top part, I think, Debbie.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it
because I think it might get a bit. I might go a bit wonky otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good to use a wet glue if you're not sure about your positioning, because then that way you've got a bit of wiggle room, and if it isn't how you want it to be, you can sort of manoeuvre that a bit. So we're just going to place that over the top. So all I'm sort of doing is making sure we've got roughly that same amount of white space. Didn't turn out too bad in the end, but mine's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And then all I'm going to do is go around making sure that we have all of that burnished really well in. So just all the way down around there. And then we're going to do one more thing, Joe, before we go to a break. I'm going to bring in a sheet of acetate. So, because what we are going to do, we are going to create our acetate and stick this into the front of our box. And not for any other reason, otherwise it looks quite nice. If you wanted to make a shaker card out of it, you could, but it's nice because it keeps everything just beautiful inside. It almost looks like a lovely picture frame. Now we are going to cut this to size, so bring in your guillotine. And we're going to cut this down to 7, let me just double check, 7.5 by 5.5.
7.5 by 5.5 on the acetate, yeah?
On the acetate, yes.
There's stuff. It looks like a bomb's gone off over here, Debbie.
So we've got our 7.5 there by 5.5. So let's pop that to the side. And this is where we're going to use our red liner tape, because this bit now is perfectly made to go inside our lid. So what we are going to do is use our red liner tape, because it's the strongest that you can get to hold your acetate in place, and honestly it will not come apart. Now if you want to, it's easier to put it onto your white cardstock, and then you can see exactly where you need to put it. So just running that down, there we go, and then all the way round. So your next piece, just trim that off. And my best tip for your double-sided tape is to burnish it down, and then it takes the seal off really, really well. So let's do that one. And then last bit.
Oh yeah, I've caught up.
Caught up, have you? You're all good. So again, I'm just going to make sure we burnish that into the plastic all the way around. And if you use your pokey tool, Joe, it's even easier to get your get that off the top. You just literally wiggle that in and take off those sides. And then our third piece and last one.
If I could put anything in room 101, it would be the backing from red liner tape, you know. Ian told me once, though, apparently if you have a bit of kitchen roll next to you, Debbie, and you use that, it attracts, the kitchen roll attracts it. Did you know that?
I did know that, Joe.
Did you?
Yes. Yeah, I did
Just
know
checking.
that. Such a good tip.
Yeah, I don't know where he got it from.
Yeah, I had the same tip, funny enough.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear it from Ian?
No.
Oh, he didn't. I think he did.
Right, so we should be to the point where our actual box lid is finished, which is fabulous. Now, we're not going to put it together because what we now want to do, we're now going to get on to the part where we use our die cut set. So all our little houses and things, we're going to have some fun with that and start putting them inside our box lid to create that beautiful box lid.
Well, do you know what, Debbie? I'm pretty chuffed.
There you go, look at that.
Look. My gate's a bit short, though.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Still got it there.
My
Yeah.
gate doesn't quite meet the post, but
That's
never mind.
fine. That's fine. You just needed to put it over a little bit more, but it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's one of those swing gates, like
Yeah.
a cafe kitchen.
It's
That's what I thought.
allowing for the lock.
For the locks,
Yes.
yes, exactly. Right, I'm meant
Well
to be doing
done.
some
I'm
things now.
really pleased that you've done
Tote
that.
bag, that's one of the things. Tracy's gonna, I think I'm gonna have to do a you and sweep up myself after this show, Debbie. There's stuff everywhere. Right, the tote bag. This is one of our deals from our later cartload show that I want to tell you about. You're getting loads of goodies included in. So the tote bag itself is brilliant. You've got some really lovely pockets on there. You've also then got pockets on the inside and a really nice big space on the inside of here. You're going to get lots of extras included as well. So you're going to get precision glue applicators. You're going to get all-purpose glue in there. You've got bone folders, edge crimping tool, the amazing Craft Companion scissors, the replacement blades for your craft knife, and also some pokey tools. So you're getting all of that included as well. That's coming up for you tonight at 6 p.m. On Cartload, or that'll be what, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. West Coast. So make sure you come and join us for that. Right, what makes CTV so special? Shall we find out?
What makes Crafters TV so special is you guys.
It's really special because the experts are really experts. They're really skilled at what they do, and they want to make sure that the audience also improves on their skills.
Crafters TV is so special because you've got together a really sort of key group of people and people that are very passionate about the product.
Crafters TV is so special because it's a unique community that we have with each other where we can learn and grow and communicate with each other.
Community, the family spirit, the education, everything to do with craft. We are all like-minded people who share a passion.
I love all the inspiration the demonstrators bring and all the knowledge for us out here.
What makes Crafters TV so special? 100% it's the interaction. No other crafting TV channel or show has the same interaction.
I love the community, I love chatting live, I think that's the best part. And it's gone beyond crafting because we've become friends.
It feels to me to be a really, really close relationship with our customers and viewers.
You guys make us feel like we're part of your family. I've never been on the show before, but one of my friends who I did meet from CCTV encouraged me, and I was on the craft along.
A massive team of people, and I think they've all got their role to play, and it just brings everything together. It allows us to do our job and just love it.
The people, obviously, the people not just here at Crafters Companion, but the viewers that watch us. I mean, everybody. We have this real magical essence about it.
Bye for now. Bye.
There's definitely one item at the top of my list, and I've talked about this on air many, many times. I absolutely love the magnetic stamping platform.
Stamping platform was a game changer for me. Hated stamping before I got that. I just wasn't brilliant. I was pants, as I like to say.
But using that, if you don't have one, get one. But using it is a game changer because you get it right every time.
My crafting journey began with stamping and colouring. It's still something that I hold very dear. I love colouring. So being able to stamp out images, colour them in, something that I really enjoy doing. So having that stamping platform allows you to be very accurate.
And you're going to get it right every time. You've got the grid on there where you can line up either your stamps or your card. And you know that it's just, can stamp again and again. So when you've got a stamp that's quite big, or you wanting to ombre your colours or anything like that, you can go in again and again and again and get it perfect every time.
Lights, camera, action, party.
Can you believe your eyes? Crafter's Companion is nearly 17.
Head over to the website and get ready for the most glittering soiree in town. Loads of you crafting on, which always makes me so happy. Mary Beth saying hi from Minnesota. She's running late. Hi. Joe A4 is 8.25 by 11.75. Thank you for that. Joe is crafting along. How awesome, says Gilmore. Lynn says, I do it that way too. I think talking about cutting the larger bit down into smaller strips. Pamela says, Joe, you are doing a great job. Thanks, Pamela. Looking good, says Tammy. Everyone has a messy craft room, according to Elaine. Rosalind says I use my tote for everything but crafting. There you go. You can use it for whatever you like. And Tess wants to know what an edge crimping tool is.
Yes, an edge crimping tool is this little gadget that we've got here. And in fact, I'm going to put it over there so you can see it. It's got our Crafter's Companion. What I love about this, Joe, is it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 little sides. Now, inside those 7 holes is a little blade. You can't get your fingers in there. You can't. It's not going to hurt you at all. But what it does do is it crimps the edges, so it distresses. I thought it was called an edge distressor, but actually, I didn't realise it was called our paper. What's it called? Paper
Crimper.
Crimper.
Crimping makes me think of pastry.
Oh, okay. So what it actually does, yeah, it just ruffles up all the edges of your cardstock. So it's really cool. And you've got all those different sides, so it never really goes blunt. So that's what it does. It's a great little tool. So whenever you see us when we use things, you could use it around the edges of all this. You could use it around the edges of your card. And it just makes it look like cool and funky, really. So it's a great little tool to have, that one. There you go. Right, Joe, are we ready?
I think so. I just need to let you know about these plastic
yes.
plates. Plastic plates. Makes it sound like they're going to a little kid's party, doesn't it? And in here, it's a deal on the Gemini MIDI accessory. So you got that pencil back in. I'll never learn. You get the purple shim and a pack of the folders. And then we give you another 2 of the plastic folders included as well. $13.98 or $18.90 is your price on those. It is a star buy. So don't miss those. Right, though, Debbie, I think, yeah, everyone's pretty much ready if you are.
Fabulous. Right, so we've got all of our bits sorted, ready to do. So I'm going to put my lid to the side, bring in a piece of card now, and we're going to first of all use, Joe, is our 3 houses, which is our next die on there. So you've got your house, well, your church and your house with your trees, and then you've got your 3 pathway houses here. So we're going to trim some cards. So let's bring in our guillotine. I'm using an A4 sheet of multi-purpose cardstock. We're going to trim this just down to about 7 inches. We don't need no more than that. So trim that to 7 inches. And then we're going to cut our card to, let's do 5.5 inches.
So 7 by 5.5?
7 by 5.5, yep. And I'm just checking I've done that. Yep, 7 by 5.5. And we want 2 pieces of that, so 7 by 5.5. Like so. So let's get rid of that, all our little pieces. Actually, I say get rid of these. Keep one of these little strips, Joe, because we're going to use that to do our sentiment later on. So now these 2 pieces we're going to use as our die cutting, and they're going to fit nicely behind our section. Actually, I think we could have done that a bit smaller. I'm going to do that a bit smaller, Joe. Let me measure that out and then just let you know what they are.
A bit smaller than 7 by 5.5?
So 7.5 is fine, or 7 inches is fine. Let's bring it down to 4 3/4 of an inch. And that's both those pieces, 4 3/4 of an inch. 4 3/4. So 4, and keep those strips as well that we just took off because you're going to need those as well. So let's take those ones away. Okay, so 2 pieces, put one to the side, and then we're going to do this one here. Now we're going to use our top of our lid that we've just done as our template, Joe, because this is where this is going to sit. So I'm just going to pop that inside here. So that's going to go right inside our middle section and then turn that over, okay? So that's where that's going to go. Then what I want to do is we want to create this sort of so we can see them through the back of the gate. So
and it's the houses we're looking at, Debbie, is it?
It's the 3 houses, yes. So while I've got those holding in there, I'm going to just bring this into my die, so just about there. So we could take that off. So I know that that is about where we want to cut that. So let me I'm just positioning it so it's going up. I'm just going to then hover that over the top there. So that's going to give me.
And they're about halfway up, yeah?
Yes. Well, about 3/4, sort of nearly halfway.
Just touching your gate?
Yes. So just touching the gate. And in all honesty, it really doesn't matter because you can sort of cut it down to size afterwards, so it doesn't matter. So we're going to put our tape on and die cut that through. So there we go.
On one or both pieces, Debbie? Because we've got 2 pieces of card, we're just doing
the
one, yeah?
Just doing the one for now, yes. So pop that
Has anyone seen my...
What have you lost?
I've lost my folder. Did anyone see where I put it?
You've lost your folder. Oh, your plastic folder for your Gemini.
I found it.
That's the only trouble with it being see-through. So we're going to die cut that first one. So bring that one out. So that will have die cut beautifully. Now, if you are really clever, these pieces that have die cut out, you could paper piece them back in, but we're not going to worry about doing that. So you could cut them out in another colour, paper piece them and have a completely different look. We're actually going to sort of colour our ones in. So all we're going to do with this, Joe, is I'm just going to take the scissors and we're just going to sort of carry on that up there. And then we're going to do this one, and let's do that across. So can you see we've just created almost like a sort of hillside. You're not going to see a lot of this side bit because that's going to be covered up. So that's our first die cut. So that one, then you can see we'll pop that into there and you can see that's then going to go on the inside of our card. Okay, just there. And then what we're going to do is bring in our other piece of card and I'm going to put that onto the same piece at the back, so you can see that piece there. And then what we want to do is bring in our other die, and then this will be our church, and that's going to go sort of on this side. So you can see it's not as slanted, this one. And while that's there, just bring this across so you can see whereabouts you want it. So if you want that tree to be in full vision, if you want it to go across a bit, I think actually where I've got it is just about right. I maybe just want to see the pathway. So I'm going to take that up a little bit and then we're going to tape that down. Now there's really no wrongs or rights to how you position it. It is just a case of putting it where you think it would look nice. So let's do that one and we're going to die cut that one in. Does that all make sense, Joe? So
I guess we'll find out at the end.
So pop that one over the top and run that through. So nice and simple, and it's nice because even though we've got a die cut that we're doing the craft along with, there's not too much die cutting. It's all about that sort of construction, making that box, and then we're going to do some colouring in as well. So which is all going to be really nice and mindful to do. So let's pop that to the side. Again, I'm just going to use my scissors to come across to take that piece away. And then we've got the sort of tops of our tree there, which we're going to just take on the edge, like so. So that gives us our pieces. So, and the other thing I want to do, Joe, so with one of your pieces that you've took away, we're just going to do a little bit of a sort of tearing on the edges, because we're going to make a sort of, where we can do a hillside. So all I want to do, now don't rip it all at once, you want to just go along and sort of tear so you get a sort of random, can you see, you sort of almost get like a random design. If you was to tear straight across like that, you don't, well actually, I mean that's come out okay, but you don't always get the shape that you want, but you really don't be fussy about that because it really doesn't matter.
So like that, Debbie?
Perfect, absolutely perfect. So that's our die cutting done. We've got our two designs here. Now what I'm going to do to start with, we're going to do this first one, Joe, so we're going to put this one to the side because what I want to do with this one, we want to add some sort of glue and glitter and get this one dry, and then so once we've done this one we can put it to the side and then do our other one. Now we're going to bring in our ink pads for this, so I'm just going to be bringing in our baby blue. I'm going to use, let me just grab a piece of kitchen towel because I've given you quite a clean one. A clean dauber.
Mine's lovely and clean.
Yeah, it was a clean. I didn't have two blues, so I gave you a clean one. So I'm just taking off, not that it really matters, but I'm just taking off some of that brighter blue because the bottom part I want to do just that lighter colour blue. And all we're going to do...
That's a spar blue, is it?
It's our baby blue. Have you not
baby
got baby
blue? Sorry,
blue?
yeah, I've got one.
So with our baby blue, we're going to use this to go up to make that sort of hill, and I just want to do it really lightly. So we're just going to take this on and dab some on. Do it sort of darker in some places, not so dark in another. And it just creates all those sort of different, I can't think of the word, different shapes, hillside shapes. Now we're going to go down here. Just making, now because I'm making this into a sort of a bit of a snowy scene, that's why I've used the blue. You're probably thinking, well, why aren't I using green as the sort of grass? But that's not what I want to do. And then you can always go darker onto the edges. And see, we're starting to get that beautiful sort of hillside.
My ink pad's definitely...
Definitely...
not as juicy as it once was.
Well, actually, but the baby blue is very pale. I think it's just because I've still got ink on my one, Joe, that it's coming out. So I'm trying to do it lighter because I don't actually want it to be very dark on the bottom. So I'm not putting too much more on because I really do want it to look a little bit lighter than the top. So there we can see, just creating like that. Now the next thing I want to do, now you could use these pieces that you've just used. I want to sort of paper piece back in. So what you could do is, and in fact I think I'm going to do this because I think it'll be easier, depending on how you find it easier, you could hold this over the top and draw a line round. So let's bring in that pencil. So just using that same one, I'm going to come in and draw all the way around, Joe. I think this would be easier for you and everyone at home.
Oh dear, I don't know what's going on here.
You what, sorry?
Oh, so I know, draw around that, yeah?
Yeah, I'm not worried about the little chimneys because we can cut them off. But what we are going to do is come down just around that silhouette. So where this comes to is right to the bottom. I want to make sure, yeah, where that top is and where that bottom is. So that can be cut straight down, that can be cut straight down. So all I'm going to do is cut around that shape. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to cut the chimneys off, so don't worry about those.
Are you cutting bigger than the shape or on the line?
On the line, yeah. Cut it on the line. You can cut it just under the line, actually, so you're not seeing the line. That's probably the best way to do it. So it's just a case of coming up and cutting straight. So you're cutting all of those lines off. Doesn't have to be perfect, and you can always
there's no danger of that happening, Debbie.
So just coming in there, and then that last little bit there. Okay. I mean, if you find actually, Joe, I've given you like the biggest scissors ever, you might find using your little snips actually better. What that does then, it creates your back piece here, which fills that gap, can you see? And it doesn't even matter if you can see still a little bit behind, because if you can, all that does is it gives a little shadow, so it's not a problem at all. Yeah. So what we're then going to do is, let's pop our baby blue away. I'm going to use my dotty tape pen, and we're going to, I'm just bringing in a scrap piece of card. We're going to go over the top, just where that's going to catch that cardstock. So just over there. And I'm just going to pop that up. Yep, that's pretty much going to take all that. And then when we layer that one on the top, you can see that just goes straight. Let me just do that way. There we go. Oh, no, I've got it the wrong way round, haven't I? It's pointed that way. There we go. That looks better. I thought that didn't look very good. Actually, let's put it on that black card because then I can see it. There we go, hover that over the top, and then all I'm going to do is burnish that down as well, Joe, to make sure that's completely stuck down. So this is a nice way of being able to then create.
Have you just stuck it on the open bit, or have you stuck it at the bottom as well?
Stuck it at the bottom bit, yeah. You can cut a bit off if you don't want to stick the whole thing, Joe, as long as you've got
Right, I've done it now. Mine looks like a toddler's done it, to be honest, but honestly, very rustic.
Remember, you're all learning. This is all learning to you, isn't it? And then we're going to take our pens. So I've got my gold yellow blend, and I've got, what's this one? A tan blend. Have you got those over there, Joe? And I've also got our ice grey.
Just trimming my chimney, 1 second. I've got gold, yeah, I've got gold brown, tan, and hazelnut.
What about ice grey?
An ice grey, yeah.
Ice grey, yep. So we're going to use our ice grey. The ice grey we're actually going to use on our paths. So just on the inside, I'm just going to, it doesn't even matter that I'm colouring my path there, because I want the inside, but I'm not worried too much of it going on the outside. So
are you using the light or dark, or does it matter?
The light. I'm using my lightest colour. Yeah, lightest colour. So I'm doing that with just the path. So we've got some Illustrator on, so you can use your Illustrator. I'm just using Tri-Blend brush. Joe's got Tri-Blend, so it doesn't matter what you have. And then I'm actually going to colour my houses as well. So I'm just going to colour those houses. So you sort of put in where you think they are, Joe. You haven't got there's not a real sort of guideline to them.
And you're doing all the oh, yeah.
Yeah. So not the roof.
Not the roof, okay.
Not the roof, no. So just coming down. So it's just a case of working out. So I know that under that window will be the house as well. And then just under the roof there. Just around our window frames. Like so. And then we're going to do our last one. So again, let's come down to where that path is.
There's a big exhale there.
That was, yeah, it was. Was that a relief one, that it's actually going okay?
I don't know, I won't go that far, Debbie, but there's some sense of relief.
So you can see we've got our houses, and in fact I've just got a little bit coming through there, so I'm just going to colour that in. And then we're going to switch to our tan blend, and I'm going to go in with that middle section. And what I'm going to do is go round inside the rooftop. So the eaves, I think they call them, don't they?
Tan blend, light or dark, Debbie?
Well, I'm using the mid section, but I'm actually thinking I should have just used the lighter section now, but there's no rules to what needs to be coloured in. So we're just going to go round and pop those in, just like so. And then I'm going to do the same over the doors. So I just over that one door, that one's already got one over the door. So there we go, and I'm going to use the lighter colour actually to colour in the doors. So it doesn't have to be perfect, this is just about getting a really nice effect. And then we've got our gold blend. So what actually, Joe, I'm going to use the earth brown. Now, you might not have an earth
Got
brown, but you have
hazelnut.
got a, yes, which is a similar one. Yes, and that is, let me just have a look. Yeah, so I've got my EB4, actually my EB3, let's use that one. We're going to colour the roof in with that one. So it blends into those eaves. That's it. So just colouring those in. Don't go over your windows because we're going to add that gold yellow into, or gold brown into the windows. So it looks like we've got some light going on. So just all around. Like so. And then all we've got left to do, put a little bit there. We've got just our yellow, so I'm going to use our, this is our gold yellow blend, and I'm going to use these inside the windows. So I'm just using the lightest colour, but even if you use the mid colour to colour in those windows. Just like so. And you can see I've pretty much done them flat if you did want to. So just while Joe's colouring, if I wanted to go in, I've done my lightest grey. If I want to add a little bit more shade in, so sort of maybe under the, oh, that's a really dark colour. What is that shades? No, it is blends. Looks really dark. So if I want to sort of go in and add a little bit of shade in, so up onto here, you can always go in and add that sort of darker colour of the grey. And then go back in with the lightest, and let's just shade that out. So yeah, you can, even though I haven't, I've tried to keep it quite neutral. If you wanted to, you can actually go in with that shading.
I'm all right with it.
Yeah, so I think the ink is slightly different, Joe, in the tri-blends to the brushes. So they seem to be a little bit darker for some reason. Or does yours look darker and mine look lighter?
Mine looks lighter, much lighter.
Right, yeah, one or the other.
Mine looks like
yes.
watercolour compared to yours.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, I think that looks similar. Very nice. Yeah, it looks really nice. Right, next thing we're going to do, Joe, we're going to go in with a bit of glitter and our fine tip glue applicator, which mine is, there it is. So, and we're going to add some glitter. So, with your little pin, let's just take that out. And we're going to just add it, and this you can put wherever you want to. So I'm going to put some around my roof. So just going in and adding that fine tip applicator all the sort of way around the roof. So add in some glittering, not glycerin. And then I'm also going to sort of just go around the path area, and just, can you see, I'm just adding little squiggles. Just around, which is going to give that effect of almost like glittering snow, keep saying glycerin.
Where are you
glistening, that's
on the steps?
Yeah, so just on the steps. You could go wherever you want, Joe, you can put it wherever you want to. And then it's just a case, we won't see lots of that, so when I bring this in, you'll be able to see that you'll know sort of roughly where that's going to be. So that's all we're going to put is just into there. So let's pop my pin back in and pop that to the side. And then all I'm going to do is use a scrap piece of card, and we're going to put some glitter onto there.
Where did I put the glitter, Debbie?
Sorry, where have you put your little pot of glitter?
I definitely had it, didn't I? You gave it to me. I didn't leave it over there, did I?
I can't see it, but you can always borrow mine,
I'll
Joe.
take yours.
Yeah, let's just pop that there. In fact, just take my tub, because then I can leave my glitter onto here. So once I've done that glitter, I'm just going to take that very carefully and tap that off. There we go. So that's going to create beautiful glitter onto our, just going to make sure this is really fine glitter. I'm just making sure, I'm just tapping it in to make sure it's really got hold. There we go. So that's got all our beautiful glitter on there. So we're going to set that to the side. Just pop this, I'm going to pop this right out the way so I don't knock it over. And then we're going to do our next piece. So we're going to do similar with this one. We're going to cut again, cut away the sides, Joe. So any piece of card that you've got, you should have some extra pieces of white cardstock over there. So I've got some bits here. I'm just going to, again, we're going to draw around it. Let me find my pencil. So remember, now you don't need the trees, so you don't need to draw around the trees. So what I would do is put that line there where your house or your church is and go up. I don't need the top of the steeple, so I'm just going to go round onto this bit. So I know there is where that can come down. So you can see I'm not cutting a lot out. And then we're going to start again. That can go across and then up here. Don't have to worry about the chimney and just down. So I know then that this bit here can come away and this bit can just come straight down and that bit straight across. So let's just cut that out. So I'm just going to come across there and cut those pieces. So cut inside the line. Like I say, it's real fussy cutting. You haven't got to, all you really need to try and make sure you do is cut inside the lines.
Yeah, I didn't get the concept while I was doing it last time, so actually it's a lot easier this time. Because I didn't realise I didn't have to keep it all as one piece, so...
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I thought I was having to do a whole shape, so I think it'd be easier this time.
Yeah, much easier when... it's just the knowing how, isn't it, Joe? Because once you sort of do that, and it doesn't have to be perfect because no one is going to see that. So that is the piece that's just going to go underneath. So again, when we then place that here, you can see it covers up all my shapes, but still you can see through all the tree there. If I bring that in, you can see that a lot better. And again, we will just place our dotty tape pen over those pieces. Don't need it anywhere else apart from where it's coming through. So have that there, and that's just going to stick right onto that side. And again, just burnish that on. And it's all these little things that we sort of maybe are unsure how to do or how to prepare them, and that gives us our beautiful matte layer with not too much effort at all. Now, because I did use that scrap piece of card, I'm going to use this piece, so let's go across. So I've just created another template and we're going to do the same again. So let's bring in, this time, Joe, we want to go a little bit darker, so that's where we're going to bring in our oasis. So I'm going to use the same ink pad, same dauber, sorry, but this time we're going to actually do a little bit darker onto our steps. And then we can come down there. And it is just a case of layering them up to create that sort of hillside. Don't need a lot more on there. I'm just giving this like a twisted motion because it doesn't need to be perfect. It is just a case of layering that on. Let's do a different part. And then again, just bringing that down. And you're not going to see a lot of this, Joe, so you don't have to do it all. What you really want to get to the point is where you might be able to, so I'm going to do one more. I think that will be plenty because I don't think we will see any more than that. So let's pop that on. So when we bring in our piece here, just be careful with that as that goes on the air. So you can see I can't see any more than what's on there. And actually I still want that a little bit darker. So I am going to go in with a little bit more there. Let's just twist that up there. So just, it gives it a little bit more drama onto our top bit. And then I think what we'll do now, Joe, is we'll do exactly the same, get this coloured in, we'll have a break, and then that'll just give us time to construct everything together.
Excellent. So, you want to take a break there, Debbie? You're going to colour first?
We can have a break and then I'm back.
Yeah, brilliant. Let me just share these with you then. I've got some pads that I need to tell you about. They're all available individually for you. So this one here is the Garden Gnomes, $14.99 or $19.95. You've got some lovely card panels in there. And then you've also got all of this lovely uplifting colour palette all the way through. If you want to go for that one, $14.99. We then have your Homebody collection, which is this one just here. And that one, again, a really lovely selection of papers. This, you've got lots in that one for you. Really nice sort of pinks in there and blues. A gorgeous selection. That's $14.99 or $16.95. And then we've also got this one just here, which is Debbie's favourite this year, the Country Lane for you, which is, again, a really glorious selection of papers in there. Absolutely beautiful, would work really, really well with these zigzags. So there they are, $16.99 or $19.95 if you want that. We're going to take a really quick break and then we're going to come back with the final chapter, the last instalment of this particular craft along. Here's some of the fun stuff we like to get up to here at Crafters TV.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
The one that was really funny, Ben, you didn't.
It was better than your I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
Can we clip that? Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us. You give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV, create every day.
My unsung hero has to be Tracy.
I'm going to give a little shout out to our Tracy.
I think if I had to nominate somebody, I'd probably go with Tracy.
Because Tracy keeps me fully supplied with cups of tea whenever I'm working here. She always finds me the things that I've lost, and she's always great to be around.
Sort of get involved with our sample library, which is massive. It's where all the samples are kept, all nice and neatly, all labelled up. And part of their job is to get the necessary samples out for the shows that we do every day, get them all ready and prepared, often display them, tidy them away again, pop them back in the sample library, and that takes an inordinate amount of time.
They literally are the cogs that keep us working, and I don't think a lot of people realise just what they do for us in terms of getting everything show ready so that we can come in, get ready and be relaxed to go on air and do those kind of things.
So that is just a small part of what they do, as well as being floor managers during the shows, getting us any products that we need, and most importantly, bringing the coffee.
Everybody on screen knows I make everybody's tea and coffee.
Lights, camera, action, party.
Can you believe your eyes? Crafters Companion is nearly 17.
Head over to the website and get ready for the most glittering soiree in town. How fabulous. It all kicks off this coming Monday, of course. Right. We've got, 25 minutes or so left, Debbie. So, I guess without further ado, we should get straight back to it.
Yeah, so we're going to get straight into our colouring in. Again, we're using that grey. So we're going to do our church and our house in grey. So let's colour all of that in. Just leave your windows because we will colour those windows in. Let us know if you have been crafting along, because it would be really good to see what your take is on them. It's been nice crafting along with you, Joe.
Yeah, it's been lovely to craft along with you, Debbie. We should do it more often.
Absolutely. I don't know when we're going to get a chance to do that again.
Yeah, I'm not sure when.
So let's do all that. I'm doing it quite quickly, just colouring in. And then up to the eaves. So the house, and then I am just going to go in with a darker colour. So let's do that dark one at the top. Our steeple, and then just add in just that little shading in.
That was big. There's a lot of size, isn't there?
Just feels like, so it's funny though, whenever I watch that VT and you sigh in there, I keep thinking you're sighing across the other side of the studio. It's very funny.
It's big concentrating. I have a habit of doing it. When I'm concentrating.
Ah, there you go. So you can add in as much detail or as little as you want, to be honest. I think it's really nice to have the choice of just a simple bit of colouring, or if you want to add all that shading in, you can absolutely do that as well. So there we go. And then I'm just going to come in with the, what do I do with the yellow? There it is. Let's just add that into the inside.
I think I've lost a pen, you know.
You've lost a pen?
Oh, I've got it. Yellow. The gold yellow.
Yep, gold
brown,
yellow.
sorry.
I'm using, yeah, gold yellow blend just to do inside the windows. So it looks like the lights are on. Yeah, lights are on. Nobody's home here, no, they're all in the studio. And then our brown, yes, our red brown. So we're just going to do that over the top or inside these pieces. And in here. And then we're going to do the darker one for the roof. It's quite nice because there's not too much to colour on these, Joe, which means they're sort of, they're you know, it's not too difficult to get them done quite quickly. Just the right amount of colour in. You don't want to colour too much in. And then all we're going to use, did I give you a green, Joe? I've got a feeling I didn't give you a green. To do
No, I don't have a green. Sabotage, isn't it?
Sabotage.
Might just do my tree. No, yeah, I'll just do my tree grey. That'll do.
Grey tree.
I'll do it dark grey. It's abstract. It'll be abstract.
Absolutely.
Well, it's very dark. Good. The grey's the dark. It's very dark. Good.
So all I'm doing is going down the edges with my darker colour and then just putting in sort of little pieces into our tree, just so they don't look like it's just all one flat colour. And then all I'm going to do with that is just put some, oh, that's the grey, we don't want the grey. Let's do just the legs of our tree there. So just
that looks all right in dark.
Oh yeah, looks nice. They look silhouettes, like silhouettes.
It's like nighttime, daytime or
Absolutely.
nighttime.
Right, so we've got then our two pieces. Just be a little bit gentle. They should have, that's not too bad actually. I think we're pretty much dry on there. So I'm just going to get rid of the excess glitter. And that's our two pieces. Now, what we do want to do, Joe, we want to create our back panel piece. So what I want to do is I want to create this square to go onto the back. So we are going to get our white card and we're going to trim that. So let's bring this in. We're going to trim our white card to 7.5 inches by 5.5 inches.
7.5 by 5.5.
5.5, yes. Okay, so that piece is going to be the backing for our box. So that hides all of our workings, okay? But what we also want to do, we want to bring in another sheet of our card. So from the pad, I want this more plainer side on the opposite side. And because of all this sort of snowy effect in the background, we're going to use this on the background as well. So all I'm going to do is cut off a bit of this. So I would say, I mean, it's a little bit wasteful because you're not only going to see the top piece. You don't need to use your whole sheet if you don't want to, but just purely for demonstration, I am going to cut that to 5 inches by 7 inches. So 5 inches by 7 inches. There we go. And keep this because we're going to be cutting this in a second as well. So this piece is going to be your background, and that's your background for your designs here. So what we're going to do is, this will be, so if I bring this in, you'll see this will fit directly. So if I pop this in here, in fact, let's stick it down, Joe, and then I won't confuse anyone. We're going to stick this piece to your white piece of card. So let's bring in our tape. So this is your 5 by 7 inch piece of pattern card.
We're sticking the background sheet,
that, to our white piece of card, which is 7.5 inches by 5.5 inches. So directly into the centre. That's the piece then that's going to go over the top here, but I want to make sure that is central to our card. So what I'm going to do is place that onto there, and then we're going to put this right onto here so you can see. So then that way we can take this away knowing that I'm putting this up to the bottom of my mat, okay, and then we're going to use that to position these in. So this will be onto the bottom here, and then this piece will be onto the bottom of that one. So then when you pop this piece back on, you can see all that design. So does that make sense?
Got that, yeah.
Yep. So all we're going to do now is place them in, so I know that they go to that bottom of the white card. So we're going to pop that one into place. This one I'm just going to leave flat. You can, if you wanted to, put it onto foam, but we're just going to place this onto that middle section, just like so. And then this one I'm going to use onto here, but we're going to put some foam onto this one. So let's just put a little bit across there and across that bit, and just a little bit in the middle to hold that in place. So let's take those few bits off.
And then the
I
foam.
what you were doing then.
Oh, I'm having a. I think we might be a tad wonky, but I think I'll be able to line it up, level it up again when I stick the panel in.
Now what that does is it now leaves us an edge to go round, so we're also going to put another piece on. So let's pop that on the bottom, right across there, like so, and then all the way round. So
So you've stuck that on, Debbie, that one with that top layer with the foam, yeah?
Yeah, the top layer, the bottom layer, yeah, I just stuck on normal. The top one we've put on with foam, and then we've just got that little edge around, which is going to enable us to stick this all to the bottom of our acetate. So we just need this all the way around. You're not going to see all this edge. So it's just a case of going all the way around to make almost like the framework.
So you're going to one all around the outside of the frame, just one layer thick.
Just one layer. I mean, you could do two if you wanted to, Joe. So you've got a little bit, and in fact, let's do it because it actually will look better. So let's take off our carrier sheet, and then with your foam, just go round that again and create another layer. I think that is what I did before because it creates, then it's not flat against the acetate. So it looks much better. Oh, so that's sticking it. Oh look, getting in a right old mess.
You're having a right nightmare, aren't you? A couple of weeks ago.
There we go. So I managed to do it. Let's pop that one on. Just trying to be too quick. So then this one, and then our last bit on the top.
Oh no.
Across there. What you done?
Don't worry, it's fine.
What?
No, it's all fine, don't worry.
It's
Nothing to
all fine.
see here.
It's all fine. Right, so we can take that section off. Why have I not took the backing off of that one? It doesn't matter. It's all stuck in. It doesn't want to come off. There we go.
Oh, sugar. George thought I was going to do a swear then.
He's a sugaring over there. Making a cake, Joe.
It
So
is.
once you've done that, we can then position that over our card. So that's going to go in our central point. So rather than position over, because that's cut to size, we want to make sure that just goes completely over the side of our box or inside our lid. So it's like a secret compartment, but it's all nice and neat, see, and it'll all just make sure that you can fold up your sides. And then when you turn that round, you've got everything inside to create your card there. Yeah, looking very good. Thank you, George. So we've got all that ready, and then all we need to do, Joe, is stick our sides together. But before we do that, we need to get our box base done. So it won't take long to do that. So what we're going to do now is bring in our big piece of Centura pearl. So this is our A3. You might have a sheet of our multi-purpose.
Oh, Debbie, I've only gone and done it.
You've done it. Let's
I
have
mean,
a
it's a
look.
bit, well, I'm missing a bit of my church. It's a little bit on the wonk, but I've still done it.
No, it's not. It's brilliant. I love it, Joe.
Amazing.
It's very well done.
What are you
And
doing-
actually, when you've got the tools and the instructions, it's very simple, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been great.
Brilliant. Right, so what we need to do is our box base. So we're
I think I think that's enough for me. I think I'm done there. I've done the top. I don't need to do the rest of it.
Do a base.
That's all right. No.
10¼ by 12¼ we're going to trim this down to. So first of all, we're going to do our 12¼ So 12¼ and we're going to do that by 10¼ 10 and
Al's back today, and the questions are all very PG, Debbie.
I should hope so.
I do love a snowy village scene.
I did.
Debbie had stern words with him yesterday.
And then we're gonna score in at 2¼ inches. So let's bring that in. So we've got 2¼ inches. For this side, we're gonna go, I'm turning my board round because I always find that easier because we're going on to the box base side. So on your box base side, we're gonna go in at did I say 2¼ I'm pretty sure I did. Score at 2¼ yes. So we're gonna score that all the way round. And then again, 2¼ score in that round, and then 2¼ and then one more 2¼ just like so. And then we're going to make this in the same way we did before, so bending that over onto the largest area, and again all the way round like so, and then again, and then again.
Oh, I'm not. No, give it. I'm done there. I mean, I don't think it's giving up at that point.
You've got to have a base though. What are you going to put your box?
I'll just take your base and put it on yours when it doesn't. If it doesn't win card of the day.
So we're just going to take these pieces and trim in, cut those triangles out, and then we're just rotating all the time. So just then using our triangles, snipping in, just being really straight with those angles, and then taking that out. So, and then our last thing we need to do, we're just going to line those bottom pieces as well. So I'm going to bring that back in, and that cardstock from the pad that we just had, we're going to create these. So these are going to be 2 by 7½ inches. So let's do 7½ inches. And then we're going to trim that to 4 inches, in fact. So trim that to 4 inches. And then to 2 inches, and that will give you your 2 pieces that you need. So just like so. And then this piece we're going to trim to 5½ inch, and we're going to trim that one to 2 inches. And then on our scrap piece that we've got here, we're going to trim that piece to 5½ inches, turn that round and trim that to 2 inches. Just like so. So that gives us, have I seen, that's mine.
What's this? Is top secret.
It's top secret.
I haven't seen this.
Joe's just found some goodies that I'm taking home with me. I can't tell you.
Oh my word.
Joe.
Get this bad boy open.
You can't look at it, Joe. It's not coming even this month.
When's it coming?
November.
Oh.
It's just that I need to start some prep with it.
Oh my, it's so fabulous.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, it's rather lovely. Yes, that will get tongues.
Oh,
and
Debbie.
that is top secret. No one has seen that before,
Oh,
Joe.
it's delightful.
It is beautiful, isn't it? You are naughty.
Oh my.
Joe, stop it.
Oh, and this. Oh. Oh, what about? Oh my. Have you seen this bit? Oh, guys, you wait till you see that. Honestly, top secret. Need to know information.
It normally comes in a box for me, but
does it?
It
That's
comes in a
why I don't ever
trolley.
know.
Yeah, Kelly bought it to me in a trolley today, and then we left it up there. I must remember to take it home with me. Yeah, it's rather one of the perks of bringing new things. Right, so all I'm going to do now, Joe, we've got our box. We're going to pop this together, and then just here with our sides, just like so. And then onto this bottom piece and your next bottom piece. Done all of those, so let's pop that into place. So all you're going to do is bring these up, making sure that the top here is completely flat, and you'll get the perfect box every single time. So bring that round. Sorry if I've gone a bit quickly in making this final base for our box, but the good thing is you can go back and watch it and pause me. And it won't be done so quickly. You can do that in your time. I will just recap while I'm doing this though at the measurements for our box base. I've cut this out of an A3 piece of card, and we've done it to 10 1/4 by 12 1/4, and we've scored at 2 1/4 on every side. And then all we're going to do, Joe, is bring this one in, and again we're going to do the tabs on here. So putting those tabs into place. And our next one, just like so. And then once we've got those tabs secured with our glue, we're just going to place them inside. And again, making sure that you've got that straight edge across there. Give that a little bit of a massage. That is going to make sure that that doesn't come apart. Make sure, because if you heat up the glue, it just makes it even more tackier. And it's a really nice weight box, this one, Joe. It has quite a rigidity about it because of your inside layers. And then we're going to place that onto there, our last one. Bring in our box, and then your lid will fit directly onto there. Now the only thing that we haven't got done, there we go, there's our box all done. The only thing we didn't do, and let me bring in my other one, I did use the builder bow. Just to make a little bow on the top, and we just stamped out the sentiment that's in the pack. So, oh, and just use, this is in the builder bow as well, the little flower on the gate. So they're the only finishing touches that you need to put on there, but you can see they're pretty, well, they are identical. So yeah, we've got our beautiful box all ready for you to send a gift at Christmas.
Absolutely awesome. They really, really are. Get your pictures in of your finished craft along. So a studio at crafterscompanion.co.uk is where you need to send those into. Next up, we are going to just want to remind you of the Zig Zag scenes, because of course you will be able to grab these and then watch this craft along back anytime you like. So make sure you grab hold of them whilst we are able to repeat that launch offer for you. And this is those. You've got Our Hometown, which is that one there. You can do this craft along with any of these. That one is your Once Upon a Time. Then you've also got your In the Country. And you've got this one here, which is your Garden Dreams, 41.55 or 47.80, if you want to get your hands on those. Next, we are going to have a little look at these, the boars. These have been very, very busy since they were launched last Friday. You can make a whole host of different styles of bows using them. Things like papers, vellum, acetate you could cut these from. They are really, really cool. And lots you can do with these, Debbie, isn't there?
So so many different things. I think this is one of my favourite samples of the year. Isn't it beautiful? And this bow is just divine. To make it, to create it, to look at it, it is just gorgeous. But it doesn't matter what you put them on, whether you put them on our craft along, like we've just done on that top bit there, just to add that little decoration, or you put them onto any of your other boxes. They're going to look beautiful however you put them on to whatever you make. I mean, making your actual tag cards where you've got that directly right onto the front looks beautiful. Creating with your cards, I love this. We've all got so stripy paper, haven't we, or strips of paper we can make those backgrounds with that look like candy canes and gifts and presents. And I love the fact as well, Joe, that you've actually got your poinsettia die in there and all your foliage as well. I think that's a really added bonus to this collection of dies, that you can actually put your accessories on as well. Look at them coming out from this bow behind. They look absolutely stunning. This is a great one to show how it is really Christmassy with those beautiful snowflakes on them. And this one has got the holly leaves cut into them. So there's lots of different creations. But actually this one here, so the bow at the top, is just a real decorative part, so if you wanted to use that all year round, then you can. I think there's something for everyone all year round for these ones.
Yeah, there really is. $24.99 or $29.95 if you want to get your hands on them. Remember, as a platinum member, $19.99 or $23.96 to grab a hold of those. We also have the Zeitlos-Schmetterling on the show as well. Timeless butterflies. I think I've got that committed to memory now, Debbie. I've remembered it. And these are great. 31 dies in here, 24 pre-printed topper sheets for you as well, and you will also get access to the download, so you can print this as many times as you want until your heart's content. Is that right? I think that's right. As a platinum member, under £16, just over $18 if you want to get these. And these are brilliant butterflies, Debbie, but kind of unlike any other butterfly item we have really in our collections, really, is it? It's very sort of, it's almost a bit scientific.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean by these. What I love about them, and I think it's why we've named them timeless, is it doesn't matter what you put them on. So whether you've got something that's very vintage and sort of oldie-weldy, these butterflies are going to work. But if you've got something really modern, I think they're going to work on that as well. They are just that timeless butterfly piece that you can create using anything you want. Just beautiful. Just beautiful effects. I love the fact that you've got so many different butterflies that will cut out these sheets, but actually when you've run out of the sheets, not only you can print some more, there is a website that you can go to that will show you how to download them and print them all out again. You could just cut these butterflies out of different coloured papers and add them to whatever you've got. But the one thing that we do need, Joe, is embellishments on cards, and these cards are showing lots of the butterflies. But actually, we always put bows and butterflies onto things. So what better than to have loads of these in your stash that you can just add whenever you need them and wherever you need them.
Absolutely, they are perfect for that. They really, really are. Right, don't forget, we will be back a little bit later this evening, or we will be back this evening here in the UK, 6 p.m, 1 o'clock East Coast, 10 a.m. West Coast with Cartload, your weekly destination sales show. It's a Cartload catch-up, so we're going to be featuring some of the best deals you've seen over the last 4 weeks or so. Do not miss it. Debbie, thank you for an amazing craft along. I'll see you back here in a couple of hours.
Oh, thank you for crafting along, Joe. It's been lovely.
It's been a pleasure. See you guys back here in a couple of hours as well.